right? Um, yeah, this is from Lydia, but this is kind of her answering my request because we've done a few Third Secret now. But I said I want to see them live. I want to see what they all look like, and kind of, but I just want to see how they perform live. So yeah, then Lydia sent this Third Secret, Third Secret, Queens live in studio. I don't know if this is a new track or old because I know they've got a new album out. So I don't know if this is off of that or what, but yeah. Anyway, let's go. Let's check. Yeah, we're sweet. Right, first thing is that I can't even work out which one Kim File is. He's changed a lot. But I have to say the girls are definitely keeping up the 60s vibe in how they look more than the boys all look quite modern, but the girls have that 60s vibe, and I think that. But then I would say that this tune is probably the furthest away from the songs I've done from Third Secret, and kind of this one feels more like grunge or the Seattle scene or whatever you want to call it. If you've got the big drawn out guitar and it's kind of dark and gritty and dirty, and but then the beautiful melody over the top. But literally you could take them two women and put them at like a Woodstock in the 60s and they would be completely in there. They would completely fit in. So shout out for the girls for keeping up the 60s vibe. Um, but yeah, Fire live too. They can sing their asses off. That's Kim File. Jesus. When did he turn into Santa? Jesus. Yeah, another fire tune. I do think like Paul Rogers. I've referenced him before saying it when someone says all the vocal things that Paul Rogers do are very cool. His vocals are always very cool. The melodies he chooses and that, and he's like, that's because the people I listen to and the people I'm influenced by are cool. Right? It just is what it is. And I think once you've got it, when it comes to songwriting and melody, like yeah, it really is like riding a bike for some people because it's just like every song is just kind of. I mean, from these, every song is kind of what you want. Although I would say I don't think we've done one this heavy. That was definitely a heavier feel. I'm trying to think. Yeah, and you have to let me know if this is off the new album or not. Elizabeth has sent me a couple off the next album, so I will get round to them too. Um, but yeah, you have to let me know what albums this off. Uh, Cause yeah, another fire tune. But like I'd say, at least from my memory, this is kind of the most truest to the grunge thing, the kind of Soundgarden. I'd say more Soundgarden than Nirvana. The big drawn out notes and the that kind of, as Noel Gallagher would put it, arrogantly slow, like he says about his song Supersonic. When you have these songs that feel like they should be going faster, and Noel calls it arrogantly slow. He's like it's the musical equivalent of when you're walking through a swimming pool and you got that kind of drag effect. But then I heard some Oasis in there too, like on the chorus was just yeah fire. So I take it she's unless they kind of switch, but I'm guessing the one in the red dress is the main vocalist and the other one's backing. But again, I haven't seen them enough live to know whether they kind of switch back and forth of who's backing who. I don't know yet, but we will find out. These are all things that will be answered over time, I'm sure. But I have so many of these bands now that I've kind of just started the rabbit holes, and it's a lot to kind of process and take in. And yeah, and these are definitely another one of them of knowing kind of knowing the band, if you know what I mean. Um, yeah, but a fire track again, a fire song, um, great performance, and it is good to see that they're kind of as good live. Like they're not a studio band, even though this was in the studio, but they can actually do the songs live too, um, which kind of makes sense from the bands. But who's the other guitar player? Because at first I couldn't work out which one Kim Fail was, but then yeah, once you kind of got the close up on the face, then I can see. I think it was his big Santa beard that threw me off. Um, but yeah, fire beard as well. I'm liking his beard. Um, but yeah, great track. Another great track by these. Great melody in everything too, not just the vocals, like in the riffs and very melodic. But then I say that about grunge. It's grunge. I do think that, or grunge. But I do think that genre probably gets the least respect for how actually musically gifted the people are. I think people look at it in the same way as punk, whereas punk is kind of the point of it is you can't play, but with the that grunge or Seattle scene group of bands, the singers can sing, they can all play like they're not one of them. Then it's not like punk in that respect. Yeah, they are all great musicians. you have to let me know. It's got to be Mike McCready or someone, because it's the Seattle scene, isn't it? They all know each other. They're all in each other's bands, and they've been in thousands of bands with different lineups of the same people. Like, because like I say, I'm listening to Chris Cornell's autobiography, and yeah, you kind of get that from that, how they all are kind of switching, and yeah. But yeah, another fire track from them. That's the reaction. Sweet.